everybody. What a night last night. We have a lot to talk about as usual, and I'm so excited to get into all of it. But first, make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward. Chris?
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Jackie Ray. You can follow me everywhere at JRay the Fanatic.
And it's your girl, Britt Johnson. You guys can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson.
Before we jump into celebrations, roasts, sadness, memorials, I just have to ask Chris one quick question. Chris, what day is it?
Hump day! I want to do the dance. You guys can't see the dance, but yeah, it's time.
Are you doing the dance? Okay.
Nah,
okay,
you can't see it. If you just see in the head, I can't do the dance. Yeah, I can't do it.
So, Jackie, obviously we have reason to celebrate. We were rooting for the Clippers last night, and they absolutely did. And as promised to the Fumble fam watching us live right now, we're taking a shot. I've got my tears here.
My God.
Wait. And look, I was going to prepare a shot, but I figure I should just go to the big homie Snoop Dogg and do his shot. So let's read this while Devin is pouring. Looks like I need to remind Clipper fans of the hierarchy of the LA basketball. Number 1 is Lakers 2, UCLA basketball 3, Sparks 4, USC basketball 5, Westchester Comets, which I've never heard of 6, all Drew League teams 7, YMCA Junior Lakers 8, the pickup teams at Venice. Number 9 goes to the Clippers. So shouts out to the Clippers being on the list. They made the top 10. Good job, you guys. Cheers, me and Devin. Shots for us. Let's get it.
Oh, God. I think that was a double shot. Britt, you're feeling a little sour. Sorry to be celebrating right in your face, but hey.
No, we're not. I don't know why you told that lie, Devin. No, we're not. No, we're not. Not even a little bit.
Hella disrespectful. My God. My God.
You guys, I'm a lightweight. I just took a double shot of vodka. If I start slurring my words, or I lose my train of thought. Let's get into the news. Okay, so obviously we have to talk about the Clippers, but the first thing that I want to address is how Dame wasted no time in Pat Beverly after the Clippers' monumental loss last night. So he tweeted at Pat, writing, quote, "I guess I should extend this Cancun invite since I haven't made my arrangements yet," which is obviously his way of like kind of bringing up that comment that Pat left on Instagram saying Cancun on 3. CJ decided to hop in and take a couple more jabs. He tweeted, "I'll bring the wine, weather is nice as ever too." He also tweeted, "I wonder if they packed before the game." So these guys had a lot of fun taking shots. It's clear that they did not feel sorry for the Clippers last night. But let's get into why the team lost. So Mark J. Spears said that the Clippers were exhausted during the game, and a lot of them needed time off the court for a breather. He tweeted, "Several Clippers were so fatigued during Game 7 against Denver that they struggled to play stints longer than 3 minutes and asked out of the game for a breather in the fourth quarter." But some fans and analysts also thought that load management might have been a key reason that the team couldn't secure the win. With their stars sitting out throughout the season, the belief is that the team wasn't able to develop the chemistry that they needed to kind of rally through that bitter end. And that's a sentiment that was echoed by both Lou Williams and Paul George. Lou said, quote, "We came up short. We did have championship expectations. We had the talent to do it. I don't think that we had the chemistry to do it, and it showed." But all season, they've been saying that they don't have chemistry issues. That's something that we've been hearing repetitively throughout the season. Paul said something similar. He said, quote, "It's the first year together. We can't even say we want to change our roster. We like what we got. We've been saying it all year. It's just chemistry and being together." He also added, I think internally we've always felt this was not a championship or bust year for us. We can only get better the longer we stay together. And it's weird to hear an athlete talk about it not having championship expectations. And it contradicts statements that he made back in June when he said, quote, immediately we expected to come in and win it all. So there was championship expectations, as there should be, I think. And then Doc Rivers also revealed that he thinks absences from team members early on in the bubble also impacted the team's continuity and conditioning. So, Britt, I obviously want to hear your side of this, but I feel like we need to get the roast session out of the way so we can hear your piece. Going to you first, my fellow Lakers fan here. You think the Clippers look kind of silly contradicting statements that they made earlier in the season about championship expectations and chemistry?
I think they look like complete clowns, and I'm here for all of it because you're absolutely right. They absolutely contradicted everything that they said earlier. Not only did they contradict everything they said earlier, I'm going to get into it a little bit on what we not going to do. But what we not going to do right now is play these dumb games and think that the Clippers really mean anything that they said in their post-game interviews last night. You can drive down the 405 in LA and you will see countless billboards that tell you exactly what they felt. They felt that this was their town and they missed the mark and missed Denver entirely. And I love it. The lies that they tell are beautiful. And I just love it. I just love it. It's a Team MAGA moment. Like, let's just make up stuff to see if it'll stick. And I love it.
Chris, okay, I'll ask you, where do you think the team went wrong, and how bad do you think this is for Kawhi's image, Paul George's image, and the Clippers as a whole?
I mean, I think that they will be just fine, but at the same time, because it is the Clippers and it is the Lakers, they are going to be getting killed from now until the next season begins, and that just comes with the territory of being the little brother of the two teams. But as far as Paul George and Kawhi are concerned, I ain't worried about them, especially Kawhi. You know Kawhi ain't seeing none of what's going on right now. He can care less. He is robot laughing all the way back home, and then they're going to do it all over again next season.
He's not laughing. He is not laughing.
He's robot laughing because he knows you. That's fine. He is the defending Finals MVP. Kawhi feelings?
And you know why his feelings are hurt? Because he's lying. And when you lie, that's how you know your feelings is hurt. Because what he's saying is, because he said we need time to develop. We've only been together a year. But I'm sorry, is my math wrong? How long were the Raptors together while he was there? Reminds me of that math.
The Raptors were together a lot longer, except for him and Danny Green.
How long was Kawhi there?
He was there for a season. But that's the thing.
Okay.
Kawhi's that good that he can do that with that team.
He can go Toronto for 1 year and it's all good. And he come to the Clippers when he got veteran after veteran after veteran and stop it right now. I am not going for any of that.
Marcus Morris, who was playing for the Knicks for the entire season. They brought in all kinds of other people.
One bit of a damn. When you got an arsenal full of AK-47s and you firing these 22s, stop it. I'm not hearing none of that. I'm not hearing none of that. None of it.
I'm going to say this. Look, I'm going to say this. Look, all I'm saying is if you go to a open gym, right, and you go in and playing with your homies, but then you are the one dude that is put on a team with guys that you have never played with before, I don't care who you are, from Michael Jordan to Kawhi to LeBron James, it is still going to be a learning curve, and I think it is completely different from the Raptors and the Clippers. Completely
why?
Because
you on the excuse train. I didn't know. Now I know. You on the excuse train. We should probably hear from Britt now because I know what train you on. It's excuse train. Okay. It's excuse train because there's no way you have Kawhi that is the person that everybody says is going to change. You don't put out all them funky ass billboards talking about this is our city if you don't think that Kawhi is a difference for the Clippers. You don't do that. They did that, and so they should take all these shots that are fired at them because they deserve every piece of these shots that are fired at them. The thing is,
I don't care about the Clippers shots and stuff like that. That has nothing to do with me. I'm a Knicks fan. Shots and stuff like that. I'm Iron Man. I don't feel none of that. I'm talking about Kawhi Leonard and how he is feeling with what's going on. I don't think he is phased at all. Paul George, I'm gonna talk about that.
He cried in the car. He cried in the car.
Got it. I don't believe that for a second. Paul George, on the other hand, I do. Well, that's a different conversation. But no, Kawhi is not phased, and I'm sure he does not mind. He is ready for next season. That's all I'm sticking to.
So he don't mind losing. He don't mind not even scoring more than 14 points in the whole game when he had 12 points in the first half. He don't mind none of that.
Look, that's not a good look. Not a good look. But I'm telling you, he's gonna be fine next season. I ain't worried about that.
We've got to hear from the Clippers fan of the panel. We've heard from the Knicks fan, the Lakers fans. Britt, I have two questions for you. And the first one, or two asks for you. I want to just hear your reaction to this Game 7 loss. I can tell that you're upset over there. So what's going through your head right now?
I don't know. I mean, I definitely don't to the point yesterday that Jackie made. The Clippers definitely didn't lose to the Knicks. They lost to themselves. The
Knicks didn't play. Don't do that.
It's Denver. See, she's so gunshot right now that it's Denver. The Nuggets.
I have nothing to say.
You've got something to say. You have been pushing for the Clippers all season long. You've been a fan for life. Come on, I know you have more to say than that.
No, I'm okay.
Devin, I don't know why you thought she was going to have more to say than that. If I was in her shoes, y'all would be lucky if I was here today.
I just think this is the time to defend the team, talk about what went wrong. But, okay, then my question for you, Britt, is do you think that this could be a sign that Doc is on his way out? Do you think that this impacts him negatively in a bigger way than we even realize?
No, to the point of the definition of championship or bust doesn't mean that you don't have a desire to win a championship. It means that if we don't win a championship, this isn't the end of this team. Obviously, that was the case last year with the Raptors because everybody only had 1 year left on their contract. That's not the case with the Clippers. So I think obviously he's going to stay there for a while, at least until whatever happens with both of those guys signing long-time deals in the future.
So let me can I just jump in real quick here? Because this Doc Rivers thing is a narrative that I actually don't like. I'm actually, all jokes aside, a big fan of Doc Rivers. I don't like the narrative that his job should be on the line. He's the only one that gets to pull the first team excuse. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Lou, none of them can pull that first year excuse because they are veterans. They were supposed to do what they needed to do and they didn't. But Doc, I don't know if you guys saw him on the sideline. He was literally barking out orders that nobody was paying attention to. He had said that in a couple other games. He said, I don't think when they played, I don't even remember the team, but he said, neither team right now is listening to their coach. I'm saying this, they're doing this. He had said that in a couple of sideline interviews. So I don't like the narrative that Doc's job is on the line. I do love the pettiness from Spectrum Sports and ESPN when they said he's the only coach in NBA history to blow multiple 3-1 leads. I like that narrative. I think he needs to live with that narrative and change that narrative. But I don't think that we should be talking about him losing his job with the Clippers because the fact that we're even talking about the Clippers at all right now is an accomplishment because that is not the Clippers that have been historic in this city. So the fact that we're talking about them at all, I think that we need to give Doc a little bit more credit than we're giving. That's the only non-shots fired that I'm gonna do for the rest of this segment. But yeah, I think the whole Doc narrative needs to stop. He definitely deserves to keep his job.
And it came out of nowhere, too. That's the thing that pissed me off with it. Out of the blue. All of a sudden, Doc's job's on the line now. I'm like, what the hell? No, stop. I'm with you on that. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point, Jackie. Britt, I do want to just hear a little bit more from you. Do you have any explanation for what fell short yesterday? Do you have any idea what might have gone wrong for the team?
I don't have anything to say. I don't know how many times we lost to ourselves. Like I was trying to say, neither one of our stars made one basket in the fourth quarter. We didn't make our first bucket until 5 minutes and 55 seconds left in the game in the fourth quarter. So we got the ball back defensively a bunch of times. If you look how many turnovers the Nuggets had, we were killing them on turnovers. We were killing them on defense. But we then could not capitalize on making a basket after we got the ball back. So it's very simple. Like, the Nuggets did not beat us. We lost to ourselves. It's very unfortunate. That's not what the Clippers, anybody that's watched a Clipper game, that's not what they look like normally. I don't know why Doc Rivers didn't just, if we have two stars that aren't scoring, you have given other positions to other players. And, you know, when they let the third string stayed in, when they beat the Blazers or whatever in that intense game, you were training them to be in those moments like that. So I don't understand if this, that, and the third wasn't working with the guys that you have in your starting lineup. Why did we not at least try the third string guys? See if their energy is a little bit different right now. I know it's like a game 7, but we weren't scoring. Neither one of them scored at all in the fourth quarter. So that's all I really have to say.
All right. Well, my sincerest condolences go to you and Clippers fans everywhere.
Are they sincere, Devin? Are they sincere, Devin? Let's tell the truth about the situation. At least be like me and just wear a ha-ha on the back of your shirt. But don't say sincere apologies, and you know damn well you don't have no.
I'm trying to be sensitive here, but let's not forget I did just. I had my Tito's out at 11 a.m. on a day. So.
I love it. It's 12 o'clock somewhere. It's 12 o'clock in Denver. Just fun fact.
All right. Well, on that note, that was fun, guys. Chris, now take us into the post up.
Oh, wow. Just like that, huh? It's time for post up with your boy, Chris, quarantine edition. Yes. Oh, man, I understand it was an elimination game, so Laker fans right now are just doing it up. I have a group chat where, unfortunately, I am friends with a bunch of other stupid Laker fans, and tell me why I wake up and I got 100 missed messages in that group chat. And 20 of them were from my brother, who just texted me alone, who was a Clipper fan, telling me all the things the Clippers did wrong, and he's pissed off about it too. Look, man, I hear it. I feel bad, but also too, Laker fans, I cannot stand y'all. Y'all going in, but at the same time, like, no, if it was the Nets, I'd be doing the same thing. Anyways, we're gonna jump into post up today, and we got to start off with the Clippers, as you'd expect. And the first thing is pretty convenient, because I feel like we talk about all the time how we believe people definitely watch this show that are whenever we bring up something, we always hear somebody else talk about what we brought up the day before, the next day. And in this moment, it comes down to Britt, who had mentioned that there wasn't really many people that believed that the Clippers had a shot. Well, whoever heard us in the live yesterday must have heard you say that and put together this whole 2-minute video of damn near every athlete, every analyst, and every kind of anybody in basketball that's on TV that was going for the Clippers winning the entire championship, and it's crazy. So here's a part of that video, because like I said, it's long.
I have a hard time picking against the Clippers.
Who do you think's going to win the West this year? The Clippers.
Boo,
Clippers over the Lakers.
You boo.
Yeah.
Clippers or Lakers?
Next
Clippers.
Why?
This was expected, though. This was
I
expected.
think their pieces fit
Yeah.
together a little bit better.
Clippers, on the other hand, have a team that
This one
completely
too.
bought in last year with no superstars. You add two of the most selfless superstars in the
That's
game
your
that go
boy.
both ways. Obviously, Paul George's shoulder is going to be a big concern, but I think it's the Clippers' championship to lose this year.
The Clippers not only have the best defensive versatility in the league, yes, the Lakers have a height advantage, but the three-point shooting of the Clippers with Lou Will and Trez on the floor, the Clippers are the best team in basketball.
The Clippers, because of their depth, because of their
Ain't
versatility,
no more Richard.
especially
Richard Jefferson. No, we stop. Cut it off, Leo. Shut it off. Stop it. The minute I saw
Let it
Richard
play,
Jefferson,
Leo. Let it play.
No. I saw Richard Jefferson and I saw Paul Pierce on there and stuff like that. Oh my God. Then I started feeling even worse for Clipper fans. It's like, oh God, these guys put you guys in the bad spot from the jump because you got Paul Pierce and Richard Jefferson on your side. I'm sorry about that. I had to make sure I saw if Chuck said anything, but nothing that solidified that he thought the Clippers were going to win. So you got it safe there. But yeah, a lot of people were believing in the Clippers to be expected. And the thing is, for me, like, this video was put up as a joke, but I don't see what the joke really is. I mean, the Clippers were a well-built team. It wasn't out of the realm of possibility the Clippers had a shot of winning a championship. They didn't they still have a curse that they have to get past, and that's what happened this year. I'm still in the boat that, we'll see what happens next year. I'm still in the boat that Kawhi Leonard is not crying in the car. Other than that, I can't talk about the rest of the players on the team. That being said, we're moving on to the next one, and that is Paul George, because oh my goodness. I do like Paul George, and I'm sticking to my guns that I believe the Paul George hate and crazy and back and forth and all the slander that PG has been getting, especially since the bubble started, I am sticking to my guns saying that it is way too overblown, especially by a lot of Laker fans, and I'm sticking to that gun. But with that being said, I have to, you heard Devin mention it earlier, and I have to mention it again. Paul George did sing a completely different tune at the beginning of this season, saying that this season was definitely championship or bust, and then he flip-flopped that last night, saying that that was not the case. Now, if he had never said the initial statement, everything he said in his interview, regardless of what Jackie and other Laker fans are going to say, I agree with. I would say you're right. Year one, new team, cool. Move on. Now we'll see you guys next year. But being that Paul George was on record, you can Google it right now. You'll find it from June last year. You'll find it from January, the beginning of this year. Paul George is on record saying that this year was definitely championship or bust, and now he's saying it wasn't. And you know who else is not agreeing or not buying it? Well, Torrey Craig of the Denver Nuggets, the team that had beat them in Game 7, and he is not buying this for a second. He posted this video after his interview on SportsCenter.
Y'all had the cheese dip?
Nah.
The cheese dip good?
Nah.
And
We ain't trying to hear that. Yeah, ain't trying
warm
to hear that.
Yeah. Well. Sorry, PG. Normally I'm on your side, but this one I cannot with you. But the thing is, it's fine. I like what Jackie said at the end. The fact that, people are this hurt and this excited that you guys didn't make it past the next round, that is a good sign for the Clippers, because we know the Clippers to get to this point, even when the Clippers were good last time, like there was some slander, maybe because Twitter wasn't as big. There was some slander, but it wasn't to this level. And I think that is a step for the Clippers, and we'll see what happens next year. And I think we'll see a different circumstance, but who knows? But I'm not done talking about the Clippers. Just because I'm here trying to, give some hope to them. I'm not done talking about them, because we kind of talked about a little bit earlier with Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum going in on Patrick Beverley. Now, we mentioned the tweets that went on. We saw, Patrick Beverley respond to Damian Lillard after they lost their game against the Clippers, and they thought that the Blazers weren't even going to make it into the playoffs. And we had Pat Bev talking about Cancun on 3, blah, blah, blah. Well, then we saw that if we can get the tweets up again, we saw Damian Lillard respond to Patrick Beverley saying, I guess I could extend the Cancun invite since I haven't made my arrangements already. And CJ McCollum jumping in with his tweets saying, I'll bring the wine, whether it's nice over there too, as well as I wonder if they pack before the game. Now, here's my thing. Damian Lillard, the people are going in talking about, Damian Lillard and the Blazers, throwing shade at the Clippers and they couldn't beat them and blah, 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 blah. Here's my thing. I'm with this, because there's no shade on the Clippers. They're just hitting shade at the person that was hitting shade back at them, and they got some ammunition and they hit them where it hurt. And I have no problem with that being Patrick Beverley, because Patrick Beverley has no problem talking when he has opportunities. So for them to talk back, I'm with it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I love trash talking in the league. I don't care what the circumstance is. I'm with it. But I didn't even want to. I was going to ask a question. I didn't want to bring it to nobody because I already know the answers, because we already got, we even got Devin out here on the tequila this early in the morning. So I know she going to be just as ignorant as Jackie. So I ain't talking to you guys.
It's noon in Denver. It's noon in Denver.
I'm not playing this game. I'm not playing this game. Look. Moving on, because I do want to hear what you guys have to say about these next two. Because like Britt had mentioned at the end, crazy enough, if you never watched the game and somebody told me this, I would not have believed it. But yes, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard were scoreless to close out the game last night in a very, very pivotal Game 7. But someone just went completely out of pocket with this disrespect to my guy Paul George. Because when this commercial first came out, when he was Pacers P, I love this commercial. But then for them to completely edit the commercial the way they did, as somebody that, as a meme enthusiast and an editor, I just had to look at him like, damn, good one. But at the same time, as a Paul George fan, I'm like, yo, that's disrespectful. But regardless, I have to show you this edited video of Paul George. Just here's the damn video. Watch it.
No OT tonight.
Disrespectful.
Ball game.
George, way off. It's the side of the backboard.
It's so disrespectful on so many different levels.
That is fantastic.
So disrespectful. I hate it so much. I hate it so damn much. First of all, Paul George was shooting against the Pistons in the commercial. It's completely different than the Nuggets. I don't know. I'm so sick with this stupid edit. People are just going in right now on social media, as to be expected, and goodness gracious. And that's not the end, because like I mentioned, PG and Kawhi both went scoreless in the fourth quarter. So, which led to not a person. Now I checked that this one is not a fake account. This is actually them. Oh my goodness. We had who was it? NBC Sports Northwest themselves tweet out taking a little bit of a petty jab at PG and Kawhi joining the fun with this tweet saying, "How many points did Kawhi and Paul George score in the fourth quarter?" ? And conveniently enough, they have a picture of their star guard, Damian Lillard, and as you can see, you are slowly zooming in on the number that he wears. I'm gonna let you guys do the math on what happened there at the end of the game. It's a lot. It's a lot. And the thing is, man, I'm seeing tweets when I wake up this morning. People talking about, I hope Clipper fans, you better stay off Twitter, because last night was just was halftime, and we're about to hit the second half right now. I'm like, yo, this is ridiculous, and it's still going off. I'm seeing way off P trending on my man. It is relentless. It is absolutely relentless right now, but I don't know. But what I want to talk about, even though it's a game one, so it's not as pivotal as a game seven, what I do want to talk about is the Celtics slander, because I'm all here for that, because I'm not a Celtics fan. And to see the Celtics lose the way they lost in game one, I know it's just game one. I'm glad that there's some people talking about it a little bit, and so much so I want us all to watch this slow-mo of the Bam block on a potentially game-winning dunk by Jason Tatum in slow motion one time. I want to take some attention. Look at this. Look at this in slow motion. Watch my man Bam. We got Kawhi giving middle fingers. Bam gave him the whole damn wrist. God damn. And look, I love Jay Crowder and Jimmy Butler's face. Like, I love it. What were we going to say, Jackie?
That's actually a real block. Oh,
my gosh. I knew
Kawhi was assisted by the rim. So let's go ahead and give him credit for this real block. Yes, he was. But Jackie, continue.
Look, I don't understand. No. I don't understand why you want to direct this. Look, I am just the middleman, just looking from outside, looking in. All right, I'm a Knicks fan enjoying some good basketball. All right, I just thought that whatever. But yet, look, both of them were blocks. This one was just more of a solidified block because it just was. But God,
the rim was like, damn, I can't even get in on this one. I can't even get in on this one.
I knew when I put this on, like, yo, in my brain, I'm like, maybe we could take a little pivot away from the game. But I knew you were still going to bring it back to Kawhi Leonard, regardless, whatever. Yes, Bam, and the Heat win. I really want them to win this series. I'm hoping that they are the ones that go to the finals, because I do not want to see Celtics in the finals for personal reasons. I like players on the team, still hate the team itself. That being said, though, you cannot hate the relationship that is Jason Tatum and his son Deuce, because they've been officially reunited in the bubble. That's right, little Deuce is done with quarantine. He was able to see his daddy, and yes, you see them reunited right here. Deuce is excited, got his little fan because it's humid and hot in Florida. But this was a cute moment, Yes, and for those who are watching the game. Yeah, he's fanning daddy off. Yeah. And for those who are watching the game, he was front row and center, watching his daddy get blocked by Bam. Watching his daddy play against the Miami Heat. It was very nice. It was really cute. But seeing the reunion was nice. But it's just one game, whatever. I saw I think the tweet of this one had said something along the lines like very appropriate for Deuce to bring a fan to help his daddy beat the Heat. I'm like, yo, okay, I see what you did there. That's clever wording of a tweet right there. I like that. But this has been I can't even call this post up. This has just been the slander hour or slander 15 minutes, because it all had to do with the games from yesterday and a lot of slander. And that's it for me. I'm done. Y'all Laker fans are relentless. That's all I want to say. That's all I got. I'm done. I'm no more.
Let me ask one question.
No, I don't want to hear your question.
I'm gonna have to, because you out here playing like you St. Chris, and I know better. So let's pretend that it was the Clippers and the Knicks, and y'all came back from a 3-1 deficit. You still gonna be St. Chris? Or are you throwing the same shade the Laker Nation is throwing right now?
That is not the same thing at all.
That
is not the same thing at all. You know damn well. First of all, you're talking about scenario where the Knicks are in the playoffs. So A, ignorant Chris is coming out. So that's not the same at all. B, the answer to the question is no, I will not be the same because that's my team. That's completely different. Now, here's the other thing, too. If you want to put it the other way around, be like, if it was the Nets versus the Pacers and the Nets got beat in the second round while healthy, hell yeah, I'm going to be out here sounding like a bunch of y'all Laker fans. I'll be going in on the team. But it's not them. I actually like the Clippers. So, yeah, I'm going to be
I just needed to make sure that the world knew that you are not the bigger man. You are the bigger man in this moment. And that
but I was vocally saying that I thought the Clippers were going to win. So, yes, I'm a little like, damn, come on, Clips. Like, I have some kind of, I do feel a little empathy on this one, all right? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Go Lakers, baby! That's not happening. Cut that out.
No, I want you to
cut that out. Cut that out.
Exactly what we want.
No, cut that out. Cut that out.
I'm going to actually keep that, edit that, and put it all over my social media. Thank you.
And I'll say that it was me. I don't know that guy. That's Paul George. That ain't Chris.
Chris Clark is the Knicks. CK2K, officially a Lakers fan. All right.
Never.
Time to get into what we not gonna do. Yes.
Is it weird that I want to just keep singing a little bit, because of this moment? Is that weird at all? All right, look, I'll keep going because I hear the sighs from Chris and the stares from Britt, so I'm just going to keep moving. But on that note, what we not going to do, at least for this very moment, is ever put Kawhi Leonard in another conversation with LeBron James. Let's not do that here too and forevermore, or at least until he wins a championship, maybe. Because you don't even have to Google it, sports fans, because I mentioned it earlier. You might have missed it because I was on a tirade, but you might have missed the fact that Denver made history. They are the first team in NBA history to come back from a 3-1 deficit. You know who has never had that happen to him? History has proven it. LeBron James. It has never happened. By the end of the first half, Jamal Murray had 25 points. Kawhi and Paul George both had 12. Kawhi finished the night with how many points? I forget. Does anybody want to remind me? Just for my memory. No one wants to say it out loud. I'll say it. It was 14 points. So he only scored 2 points in the second half. Again, things that LeBron hasn't had happen to him. Kawhi and Paul George were 0 for 11. Again, 0 points. That is not what you need to happen from your quote unquote leader. That is just not a good thing. Now, here's the thing. I'm not even going to hate. In the first half, I was watching that game and I knew that the Clippers had a problem. But in my head, Kawhi is Kawhi. He's been leading the charge on the whole, this is our city. Yeah. So I was like, they're going to go into the locker room. Doc's going to get in their ear. They're going to come out. We're going to see a different team. The Nuggets are in trouble. Check my Twitter. Check my Facebook. That's what I said. I said the Nuggets are in trouble when they come out in the second half. That did not happen. We did not see the leadership that we should have seen from a Kawhi or Paul George. And I'm not even going to put this on Paul George too much because Paul George right now is Robin. He is not Batman. Kawhi is Batman. It is his job to lead the situation. He did not do that. Keep huffing and puffing. I'm not even nearly done yet. So just take a deep breath, Chris, because it is coming. So this is a 2-team town. Nevertheless, as Snoop Dogg has pointed out, the Clippers have been the little brother from their inception. But Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers led commercials. I don't know if you guys have seen these commercials. I'm sure you've seen these commercials. Maybe they're a West Coast thing, so I don't know where you guys are. Maybe you haven't seen them where you are. But here in LA, we see commercials all the time that said, this is his city. If you drive down the 405, I said this earlier, you will see all these billboards, and they've all got Kawhi, and they've got Paul George. And the one with Kawhi, I think Paul George has one too. But it says streetlights over spotlights. That is an implication that we just Hollywood over here in Laker Nation. I don't know if y'all see the GOAT. We just Hollywood. We all got the spotlights. We don't play street ball. That's what that billboard implied. In fact, that's what Britt said yesterday. The Clippers play street ball. Street ball couldn't beat Denver. Does anybody really think of Denver as a team that plays street ball? No, they don't. They think of the team as a young team. And I don't want to hear anything about this. Oh, they've only been together for a year. Because like I said, Kawhi spent 7 seasons with the Spurs. He spent 1 season with Toronto. I know Chris says it's different. It's not. It's not, because now you have a bunch of veterans on this team. And like I said before, you got an arsenal full of AK-47s, and y'all couldn't even put together a 22 in the fourth quarter. Y'all couldn't even shoot. Y'all was hitting, I know y'all saw it, shots that were going off the backboard. That is not a clutch situation. You're supposed to be clutch. Clutch isn't just hitting that last shot in Toronto and giving us what I think is one of the best photos in NBA history when Kawhi went down and just watches that's not clutch. Clutch is being able to say, my team is down. I need to put them on my back and carry them. Now, Kawhi didn't say that. Kawhi missing he was gone. They should have put out an APB for him the entire second half of the game because he wasn't there. And at the end of the day, Toronto had the same outcome as the Clippers. So at bare minimum, I think we owe Van Fleet, Kyle Lowry, an apology, because it was really them, which Chris alluded to earlier, that they are better than we thought they were, because I think we give them way too much credit to Kawhi. But here's the most important reason why you need to take Kawhi out of any conversations with King James. Kawhi led this narrative. Like I said, he led this narrative that is our city. He proudly took every commercial that implied as much. I haven't seen one commercial from LeBron saying this is our city. In fact, I've heard LeBron say we constantly need to work. Every single post-game interview I've seen from LeBron says we need to put in the work. We're not there yet. We need to put in the work because we have teams that are good. Every team out here is great. We've seen him say that. We've seen him give credit where credit is due. And we have seen him say that they need to put in the work. The Clippers went out there and played like they expected to win. They didn't play like they were in battle. They didn't play like they were at war. They played like they expected to win, and they expected wrong, because meanwhile, Denver's out here collecting all of the Infinity Stones, and then Joker went out there and slow motioned his way to 22 rebounds and 13 assists, snapped his fingers, and Thanos the Clippers, which I am totally here for this. But listen, the Clippers got big-headed. They didn't properly prepare. They didn't have the leader in Kawhi. Kawhi should have told them, hey, the journey, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. You have to treat every single team as a team that could possibly knock you off the throne. You have to prepare. They overlooked the Nuggets. And for that reason, I do not think you should ever put Kawhi in a conversation with LeBron, because LeBron doesn't look over anybody. He knows that at any time he can be dethroned and that people are coming for him. And you know what else that I like? LeBron put this in their hotel. Leo, can we throw that up really quickly? Because this is just proof, once again, that LeBron is the leader that Kawhi never will be. There's no teams on here. There's no Clippers on here. There's no Nuggets on here. There's no Houston on here. It's just a number of games that they need to win to get that trophy. That's it, and that's all. That's all it's about. So don't believe this lie when the Clippers are telling you, oh, we didn't think we was a champion. That's a lie. They're lying, because you're not playing the game just to play the game. If it's all about that, then just really go back to street ball, Clippers. Just do that. Don't play the game. They played to win, but they only played to beat the Lakers. They did not consider Denver was this young team that were hungry. They didn't consider that. So for that, make sure you never put Kawhi in another conversation with LeBron ever again in life. I said what I said. I see the chat going off in the corner of my eye, but I'm not paying it any attention, because unless y'all are co-signing with GOAT James, I don't want to hear it. But I do want to get Devin up on the screen. So while we wave goodbye to the Clippers, can we please take this moment and wave goodbye to any of these Kawhi narratives ever again? Elbow, wrist, elbow, wrist.
I just want to say, there are a lot of people who are agreeing with you, so I don't think you'll be too upset looking at
okay, good.
At the chat. Yes. So continue with the wave.
Wait. Your princess wave is much better than mine. Much better than mine. But we're just gonna give it to Kawhi right now. We're gonna just cut Kawhi right now. That's that Jokic slow motion. I'm still gonna get all these damn rebounds wave. That's what that is. Oh, Chris, you got anything you want to add? Because you got to represent for Britt right now, because she don't want to talk. You got anything you want to add?
Word. But see, here's the thing. I'm here on this Kawhi and LeBron narrative. Anything else, I don't have a dog in that race. This Kawhi versus LeBron narrative, I don't disagree. I don't know where that narrative is coming from, where they were one and the same. I would definitely say that Kawhi is definitely close to that because Kawhi is still Kawhi Leonard. Do not disrespect Kawhi, but I'm not going to sit here and say Kawhi is the real king over LeBron James. So I don't disagree with you on that narrative. It's just the slander and the jabs that you going in. Those are things that got me. Like, back to this Raptors thing. The Raptors are in the Eastern Conference. The Warriors were hurt. It's not the same instance at all.
It was 1 year. It was one damn year, Chris.
Look, 1 year the Clippers in the East, you cannot tell me it would not be the same thing.
So let's break this down then. Let's break this down. And I really need you to understand what I'm saying.
That's no slander on them.
Oh, it's not any slander on them at all. But when we talk about Fred VanVleet, when we talk about Kyle Lowry, when we talk about Gasol, when we talk about Siakam, we don't talk about them in the same way we talk about a Lou or a Paul George or Kawhi. So when you're talking about a man can go over there and make it work with people that we barely talk about, and then when we come over here to the Clippers and he got all these people that everybody said, "Ooh, this is a problem for LA." Stop it. You need to own every piece of this hate because you deserve it.
Okay.
So I
agree to disagree. I'm the owner. Look, I'm a Knicks fan. I get enough hate as it is. I don't want that kind of hate. I don't want to add that.
You gotta own it on behalf of Britt because you the one that's
owning
just trying
it on behalf of Kawhi. I'm here for the Kawhi fight. I'm here for the Kawhi fight. That's it. I'm just saying it is not the same thing. But agree or disagree. That's fine. Oh, unless we can talk about the rest of the show. I don't know. You're saying no.
I'm saying it's not the same thing because you talking about playing with like full on Nikes versus some Payless shoes. That's it. So if you're not gonna take away from what was happening over there in Toronto, you gotta talk about what's happening over here in LA because again we're talking about guys that don't even get the headlines, don't even get the narrative, don't even get talked about the way that his team does over here. He had the supporting cast here in Toronto. It was all about him.
But that has nothing to do with the fact that it is the Los Angeles Clippers more so than the names. Because I mean, yeah, we're talking about Montrezl Harrell and stuff like that. But you can side by side damn near all of these players on the Clippers with that Raptors team. Can you or can you not? Except for Kyle Lowry.
So you're telling me if you were building a team, if we were building the Knicks team, you would pick more Raptors than what the Clippers have right now?
It's about half and half. Because I would take.
Let me move on to my.
100%. I'm being real. I'm being real. Because I would take VanVleet before I take probably Lou. I understand Lou is who Lou is, but VanVleet is younger. I'm taking VanVleet. I'm just being real. So you asked me a question. I'm taking half and half. I'm being real. VanVleet didn't show you nothing in the playoffs.
Look, I am not arguing that like at all because I actually really like VanVleet. I actually really like Kyle Lowry. I actually like Siakam, even though there's a whole petition about that situation. I just think he did not play great. He didn't play great, but again, I don't have a dog in that race. But what I'm saying is, I personally would not take VanVleet over the sixth man of the year. I would not do that. And you're telling me
you would take VanVleet over Montrezl Harrell? Move on. We're moving on. We're moving on to the next segment.
You said Lou. Don't get slick and try to be funny. Okay. You just said I would not take VanVleet over Lou. Now you switching it up. That's so Clipper-like of you.
You said 6 man of the year. You said 6 man of the year. Who's the
Stop it right now. Stop it right now. I'm talking about the one that's supposed to have it, not the one that got it out of sympathy. Because we know how that works.
Whatever.
Let's
another day.
Move. Me and Chris gonna have to just get together on one of our platforms because clearly we got to finish hashing this out. But I'm actually really excited about this next one because I did not see this coming. This one kind of came out of left field for me, but it is a beautiful, beautiful story. If you remember not too long ago, we told you about Maya, who put her career on hold to fight for Jonathan Irons, who in 1998 was 16 years old. And he was wrongfully convicted when he was accused of burglary and shooting a man in St. Louis. Maya learned about him when she was just 18 years old. She was visiting her family. Her family was involved in prison ministry at that time. She met him then, and then she learned that he had been convicted for 50 years. His sentence was 50 years at that time. And she learned at that time that all the evidence was shaky. It was circumstantial. So the two quickly became friends at that time, and she began to like raise awareness about the situation. And then you kind of know the rest of her story. She placed her career on hold. And then after serving 23 years in prison, her hard work paid off, and he was freed 2 months ago. So here's where it gets kind of Disney and beautiful for me. The two were on Good Morning America to talk about their Get Out and Vote campaign. We've seen countless athletes do this just to make sure that everyone is registered and they get out to vote. And while they were talking about that, they made their special announcement. So Leo, can you throw that up?
Absolutely. So we wanted to announce today that we are super excited to continue the work that we've been doing together, but doing it as a married couple. So we got married a couple months ago, and we're excited to just continue this new chapter of life together.
I think this is so beautiful. Like I said, I was super surprised, but we not gonna do is pretend that Maya doesn't look completely happy and stunning in this wedding picture. I think I sent it to Leo. I don't know if you can throw it up right now. She looks so happy, and they look like just a happy married couple and excited and victorious. I love that. Jonathan, of course, wants to continue working with making sure that people who are in prison and they're wrongfully convicted, that they can get the justice they deserve and they can get those convictions overturned. But what I also thought was beautiful is that they're also working on a documentary that's going to kind of, talk about how Jonathan Irons came to be in prison in the first place, his meeting with Maya, and then their journey together to get him freed. And Robin Roberts, who is the Good Morning America host who helped them kind of share this light about them being married, she is heavily involved in the documentary. Like I said, I was a bit shocked when I heard the announcement, but it wasn't like in a bad way. And I was really happy to see, because y'all know I always go to Twitter to see what's happening. And I was really happy to see that the overwhelming of support and people who loved it. I kind of thought people were going to say, I don't know, what is she thinking? What is she thinking? That is not, there was one or two in there. I'm not going to say it was completely free of that, but overwhelming support that they are getting online for this marriage. I think my initial shock was because I see Maya Moore as this big, WNBA star. She's this huge kind of entity. And here's this guy that, although it was wrongful, he did spend 23 years of his life in prison. And I wasn't entirely sure off top, what he could offer her per se. But I do realize that that's not like the most loving way to think about that. But that was my first thought. But then again, when I thought about it, it makes sense because, like I said, she met him when she was 18. She's 31 now. So that's 13. Is it 13? Well, a little over 13 years, I think, of knowing someone and then moving from trying to get them just raise awareness about their case to saying, hey, I have to stop what I'm doing right now and help get this man, out of prison. I think it's a beautiful Cinderella story. I've been dating people that, you work with them closely on a passion project. Sometimes you develop a connection on that. So it made sense in that aspect, but I'm really just happy for them. I love. So this is something that I'm really happy about, but I just want to open this up to the entire panel because I was shocked about this. So Britt, I just want to come to you first and say, is this a perfect ending to a tragic story or a beautiful beginning to a perfect love story? Oh,
you're muted.
It's muted. It's muted.
Hello.
There you are.
Yeah, there you are.
I thought this was sweet, but I hope this is never me. I actually do adopt an inmate, and I have several inmates that I am pen pals with. So I hopefully I marry one of them. But it makes sense now as she really kind of invested herself in this because, this was supposed to be how it turns out. Like, this is literally what, we talk about a lot when we're like, you never know why things happen. Everything happens for a reason. And, if he didn't go to prison and her family didn't have that ministry to deal with people in prison and stuff, they would have never met each other. So as crazy as their story is, it's kind of like beautiful to see them come together. And they've been married for a couple months now. So it wasn't like, after the fact, got out of prison on July 2nd. And I think they just probably got married right away after that, as it seems, since it's barely September. But yeah, I thought that was really sweet. I think it's a cool story. Something they could definitely tell their future children. Now I'm wondering if she's going to return next season or not. Because maybe she'll probably be pregnant next season. Who knows?
Yeah.
But, it's sad because we might have saw the last of her playing basketball, and we all know what a star she is. But I'm so happy that she's in love.
Yeah.
I'm super happy too. Devin, were you like me? Did you have two separate reactions? Did you kind of go, oh, wait, and then you go, aw, at the same time? Did you have two different reactions?
Definitely, yeah. When I saw that this morning, it was like, oh, okay. That was my, like, just that surprise, that shock. That's not something that I was expecting. But Britt's totally right. It makes sense now why she was willing to kind of not abandon her career, but step away from her career, because she found the love of her life. And I'm like you, Jackie. Yeah. I am a huge fan of a love story. I love love. So to me, this is like, I like it. It's romantic, and I'm so happy for them.
So, Chris, I'm going to come to you last because you are the only person on the panel who has been successful in a long-term relationship, and I know that sometimes there's situations that are probably. Well, hey, I have to give him some credit, right? You know, so I know sometimes there's situations where, like, I've been in situations where I can't stand the way a person chews, or like, they'll work out and not put deodorant on and take a shower, and you're just gonna walk around funky all day, and it's something I can't live with. Do you think that there's little certain nuances that they're gonna experience that they obviously couldn't experience because he was in prison? And with those experiences, what advice would you give them to overcome those and keep moving forward successfully in their marriage?
Oh God, I'm the worst person to ask for that second question. But yeah, no, 100%. I mean, when he was unfortunately in prison for as long as he was, you know, like we all been talking about, they found love and now they're together. And there's definitely going to be that learning curve, whether it would have been in a relationship or as a friendship. And definitely in a relationship, there's definitely going to be that learning curve. Now, as far as what to do about it, I'm the worst person to talk to when it comes to relationship advice. All my friends say the same thing, because the difference is, I'm a very patient and laid back dude. So like, and she knows, like, there's very few things that really will irritate me. So I don't know if I'm the guy to ask, because things that would piss off my homies and stuff like that, I'd be like, yeah, Carl did that too, but it's like, it's not that big of a deal. So I don't know how to answer that second question. So I don't know if I'm the one to ask for that one. But yeah, no, 100%. I mean, that's just how it's going to be, especially with such a different change for him to go from what he was unfortunately living for so long, and then now to be free and then be with someone who really, really cares a lot for him. You know, there's going to be a lot of changes and a lot of new things for them to figure out for sure.
So maybe you answered it. Maybe the key is patience, because it seems like
there
that's
it
what
is.
You do. So yeah,
I like that.
There it is.
Yes.
Maybe you answered it.
That's what it is. Yeah.
All right, guys. That's all I got. Congratulations to Maya and Jonathan. I'm so excited for them. I can't wait to see what they have in store. But right now, it is time for Britt's Takes.
Britt's Takes.
So a couple weeks ago, I talked about Donald Trump trying to get the votes by the Big Ten into it, and saying that he was going to be the savior of college football. Well, I was not wrong. Here is Donald Trump taking all the credit. Leo, if you want to throw up that tweet, he said, "Great news. Big Ten football is back. All teams to participate. Thank you to the players, coaches, parents, and all school representatives. Have a fantastic season. It is my great honor to have helped." Well, like I said before, do not be fooled by this, because he did not actually help by talking with Kevin Warren, who is the commissioner of the Big Ten, because he is not the one that makes any of the decisions. All of the presidents did. The presidents just voted early this morning, and it was decided that they will, in fact, have a season. Their season is set to kick off October 24th. So now the only Power 5 conference that isn't currently set to play or isn't currently playing is the Big 12. We know the ACC is already playing and the Big 12 is playing right now. And obviously both of those conferences aren't really that great when it comes to football. Like, who wants to see UNC football team? Like, people watch UNC for basketball. Same with Duke, this, that, and the third. But the SEC is going to be coming back as well. We already knew they were coming back. Their season actually kicks off in 10 days on September 26th. So that'll be all your LSUs and Alabamas and stuff like that. And then now it is official. The Big Ten is coming back on October 20th, which is Ohio State, Penn State, and those two schools are actually top ranked. Ohio State is in the polls right now, ranked second for this upcoming season. Penn State is ranked 7th. So unfortunately for the SEC, you guys are not going to be the only ones that have a chance to go to the college football playoffs, because yes, even though the Big Ten is starting way later than everybody else is, they have set their schedule perfectly. They are actually going to be playing 8 games in 8 weeks, with their Big Ten championship game being played on December 19th, which is perfect timing. They hit this just right, because guess what happens on December 20th, one day later? Selection day for college football playoffs. Literally, they have thought this out perfectly, so their players do not miss a beat, and they get a chance to compete in the college playoff this season. So yeah, even though we're missing out and they're starting technically 2 months later than football has started for some, and a month before it starts for the SEC, they don't got to worry about it. Their team is going to be available and ready to play. So sorry, guys, Ohio State's going to be in it again. Ohio State actually won the very first college football playoffs ever that we had. I think it must have been 5 years ago now. But yeah, they won the very first one. They've played in several after that, but it's been more of a Clemson, LSU, Alabama situation other than that. But Ohio State is definitely going to be in it and battling it out. And I think they'll actually do a lot better, considering they're going to be playing a lot less football leading up to it. So hopefully their players aren't as beat up. So the Big Ten decided to do this, and they're going to have very organized and strict rules as follows. So they will start doing daily rapid testing on September 30th that they'll do every single day. It will not be ran by coaches or anybody that works within the school or facility, as far as like medical staff, nobody that is hired by the school. The conference is actually bringing in assigned chief infection officers for each team. So those will be the people that will be running all the tests, and they will be releasing all the results. It will not, because, I talked about it before about some coaches not releasing some information, and because they didn't want their team to get in trouble, this, that, and the third, or they didn't want a certain player to not play because he had COVID or whatever. This is going to be strictly ran completely separate as far as their daily COVID testing will be. And they're actually a little stricter than when the NBA has players that test positive, or when the NBA leaves, because if a player does test positive, he will have to leave for 21 days before he can return to competition. And with an 8-week season, that is a long, long time. So he will basically be gone more than a third of the season if he tests positive for COVID. Also, if they have more than 5% positive tests on an entire team, that whole entire team has to halt play, halt practice, halt meetings for 7 days straight. Regardless of if more people had it or the players that don't have it, everybody has to halt play for 7 days if 5% of the team tests positive for COVID during a week or whatever. But yeah, as I expected, Trump said that this was all up to him, thanks to him. And so hopefully he's thinking he can get all the votes from the people that love Penn State and Ohio State and this, that, and the third. But you guys do not forget, he is not responsible for this. And I guarantee if something wrong happens, he will be the first person to say he had nothing to do with this. He will then tell us the facts, which is, oh, well, I talked to Kevin Warren, and he actually isn't the one that makes the decision. It's all the presidents that do. And with the presidents, it was only 60% of the presidents that actually had to agree during their voting. And actually, all of them did. It was a unanimous decision. Every single president in the Big Ten all voted for the return of football season. But I like that the Big Ten has been very, compared to a lot of the other leagues that kind of started right away, or even the SEC that's going to be starting here on the 26th. The Big Ten is all about like doing whatever the medical people say. Obviously, they're in areas that are not hot spots, as we are here in the Pac-12 area. but I'm sad for the Pac-12 because now they're the only big conference that is not playing football now. Like they are the only ones. They spoke out this morning about it and said that they do not have a timeline of when it's going to happen. They said it could be maybe November, but if it does happen to be in November, they would actually miss the college football playoffs. Doesn't matter because they wouldn't have made it anyway. Like, sorry, Oregon and USC and UCLA, but y'all just, you guys just ain't doing it for football lately. So none of those. I mean, Stanford's been pretty consistent and pretty good, but yeah, sorry, you guys. You're not going to get a chance to compete for the college playoffs. But I didn't think any of you guys were going to make it anyway. So yeah, that's what it is. With them, but I'm excited to hear the Big Ten is back just because, as you guys know, I am an Ohio State Buckeye fan. My grandma grew up in Ohio. Half of my aunties and uncles were born in Ohio, so I was basically born a Buckeye. But I'm really excited. Football is going to be back for them, and they're going to be able to play in the championship games, which was my biggest concern is the delay of the season. How does that affect these teams and getting opportunities to play? Are we going to see 2 Rose Bowls like I had spoke of before? Thank goodness none of that is going to happen, which would be so silly. We could just see 1 Rose Bowl thing with the winners or with the championship for the Pac-12, and that'll just be the end of it. And it'll just be the winner of the Rose Bowl for that situation. But as far as college playoffs, now that the Big Ten is back in it, I think we're just going to keep moving along here. Sorry, big Pac-12, you guys miss out on this situation. It's unfortunate, but the Big Ten has 6 total teams that are in the 25 right now. 2 of those, like I mentioned, Penn State being number 7 and Ohio State being number 2, and all the rest of them are really from the SEC. So with these two conferences in it for football anyway, I think they're just going to go as normal and just continue the season, and the Pac-12 have to get in where they fit in. Chris, my question is going to be to you here. Should the Pac-12 start working on plans for a return for their season, or is the West Coast still too much of a hot spot?
Oh, that's a good question. But I think I'm going to stick with what I've been saying. I think, if we're seeing the NFL being able to figure it out, I think that they have the ability to have it figured out on the college level, which is why I'm glad that we're going to be seeing, like you said, Ohio State coming back. And I would definitely think it should be okay to see the Pac-12 bring it back, especially if they're going to implement the right rules to navigate what's going on right now with the coronavirus. So I think it's definitely something that should be opened up for a lot more of these leagues in college football, because I feel like it could work out. It might not be as scary as we might have all initially thought when it comes to preventing the spread and whatnot. So yeah, I think they should be open to it. But I'm with you. I'm just glad Ohio State gonna be back because I love Justin Fields, so I'm excited to see him play. So yeah, I think it should be visited for sure.
Well, Justin Fields, among several other players in the Big Ten, had already started a lawsuit. They were going to sue for not being able to play that. So, it's good they are, because they definitely, I think, could have won that lawsuit very easily, especially how long they waited for the season to not to say that they were postponing or canceling the season. But yeah, I'm excited, and this just is good for the competition of the game. You don't want to see just the SEC competing against the SEC and just leave it. To have like I said, 6 other teams that that were part of the top 25 being able to participate is just going to level the playing field a little bit and let it be real competition. You don't want to see like Alabama just play LSU all year and just that's the only good game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm excited. Football's back, but you guys do not forget, this is not because of Donald Trump. So do not vote for him just because he's back. Even though as much as you like to take credit, this is not about you. Take credit for COVID, because that was your fault, my guy.
Right.
Yes, I love that. All right, you guys. Well, that wraps up this show for the day. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Wash your hands, wear a mask, and have a great day, you guys. Bye.